Hello, everybody. Welcome to Quick Resume Podcast. We're a new Xbox podcast that we wanted to start up. We've been wanting to do something like this for a while, especially with so much going on in the Xbox world at the moment. So, what we'll do is we'll just do a quick introduction to myself and my co host, and then we'll sort of go through our history with Xbox, sort of the current news, kind of the movements in the industry, and things that are kind of adjacent to Xbox as well. So not just that, but also things that are happening in general across the industry. So my name is Dec. I have really been playing Xbox ever since I met my co-host Tim. We have been friends for a long old time, and really, one of the ways that we've kept our friendship going is through Xbox. I still remember first being introduced to the Xbox 360 and through Halo and being shown Call of Duty 4, and this was before I really had any sort of big console or next gen console at the time, and just having my mind absolutely blown by the fact that you could play with other people online. So, I mean, that's just a sort of very short snippet of where my sort of history with Xbox going back. So, I want to sort of introduce my co-host Tim, and so we'll sort of give you a bit of history about his about himself as well.
Yeah. So as Dex said, my name's Tim, and I am 26 years old. We're both 26 years old. Um, as he said, we've known each other for a very long time. Um, and yeah, so basically, this sort of where I first got into gaming was again. I mean, it was a very similar point to him when we first sort of got into it. It definitely the multiplayer like aspect side of things. Halo 3 multiplayer was kind of where it all kicked off in our little basement, playing that together. We were experts at multi-team, well, that was back in 2007 now, I think. So we've been gaming a long old time. Um, and yeah, so I basically say my favorite sort of gaming franchise ever, if I had to pick one, is probably Monster Hunter. Just to get a little bit of a background on the sort of things I like. But yeah, I'd say Monster Hunter is definitely up there. Playing that since it was out on the PSP, I think it was the first console it was out on, and then following it all the way to it moving to the DS, Switch, and now obviously the most recent Xbox. But
I think it did have an
yeah,
installment on the PS2 actually, but
oh, did it
I
have
think I
a?
think yeah,
Oh
like
yeah,
Monster Hunter, and then there was Monster Hunter Freedom. I think came to PSP,
that's true. Yeah, and it also
but
had the Wii one as well, but I didn't play
yeah,
those.
because for some reason they made it for console and then skipped console for like 10 years, and came back after like home
Yeah,
console. I mean,
yeah. Finally, they saw reason and actually made Monster Hunter World.
yeah,
Now their biggest selling game ever.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically a little bit on me and and where my sort of gaming history lies. And yeah,
sweet. This is something that we kind of will, talk about as the show goes on. It's something I'm really excited to be able to finally do, especially in lockdown and the madness that has ensued over the last 18 months. It's just nice to speak about video games, man. It's an exciting time to be a gamer. Um, so this, I really want to just start by asking you, my friend Tim, what is your thoughts about what are your thoughts about Xbox where it's at now?
where it's at right now,
Where it's at right now. This is at this very moment in time.
I think Xbox at this point in time is in a pretty good state. I think it's better than it has been in recent years. Definitely, it's definitely getting better. I think, I mean, to me, I've always seen Xbox as definitely more sort of orientated towards like social gaming
Mm-hmm.
and multiplayer gaming and stuff like that. And I do still think it is doing that more than the other home consoles like PlayStation and Nintendo and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I definitely think it's on the up, especially with all the the recent stuff with Bethesda and getting all that on board. I think that's obviously huge.
Mm.
And just loads of we're really racking up the sort of first party studios, and it's improved. Is my overall
Yeah.
sort of thoughts on that, because I think it was in a bit of a rough spot
Mm.
prior to that,
Well,
but obviously I don't know if we'll.
there were conversations about the branch shutting down like in 2015 time, weren't there? I don't remember that. There were genuine conversations about Xbox closing down, but well, I mean, Phil, our boy, Lord and Savior, Phil Spencer. For those
Philly
who don't know,
Spence.
for those who don't know, ex boss. He had somehow convinced Satya Nadella, that's CEO of Microsoft, obviously, to invest a lot of money into Xbox. And it looked, given the launch of the Xbox One, that was a pretty bleak proposition. But he took the bait. I mean, I don't know what Phil managed to do. And this has been said before that the biggest sort of turning point after that was Microsoft acquiring Mojang. For those who remember that, that was a thing that happened. The makers of Minecraft, they straight up said, "You're mine now," and that was a lot of money. That was like 2-3 billion. I actually can't remember right off the top of my head, but that's like the returns on that. I said, it's already like, we're talking like 50 billion. Like, so, since they've been acquired, it was in like 2014, 2015 that it happened. And I think since then, the whole idea, like, is that Satya has been like, oh, there is money in this gaming thing. And there is this real feeling, especially, do you know what, over the last few years, that a lot of bigger companies are starting to think, oh, this gaming thing actually is quite profitable. Because there's just so much money floating around in the industry, especially over COVID. Of course, sales have skyrocketed up. We've had loads of enterprises, loads of acquisitions across Sony, Xbox. Tencent have been going for it as well. The evil, that evil company. And who else just got acquired? Embracer Group. They got acquired. Was that by Gearbox? Or was that a part of Gearbox? Anyway, loads of people are getting acquired, loads of money floating around, and I think it's it's evidenced, like you said, the most in the way that Xbox has acquired Bethesda for 7.5 billion just a few months back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's definitely Philly's definitely got us in a pretty good state, and gaming is just huge. And I completely agree. Where I think people have just started to realize that now. Like, I'm not sure of like the just sort of like overall like popularity in the market and everything, but I imagine gaming is up there now with like film and TV and all that sort of stuff, if not like more so. Like, it's huge. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Although video game movies are still hot trash.
They don't seem to be able to pull that off. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
They still can't combine the two.
They're so cursed. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think the best one has probably been Warcraft, but that was still kind of average.
Well, people liked the Pikachu one, didn't they? I haven't seen it, but people said that was great.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that either, to be fair. But I heard it was okay. Again, I didn't hear it was like crazy good. Same thing with the most recent Sonic one. They're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting there.
Wow. Still be a miss.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're both kind of in agreement it's in a much better place now than it was before.
Hugely.
It's funny looking at, and I guess I kind of want to go over. Firstly, I think the fact that when we say that, I think we can both kind of agree that the future is really, really bright. It's blinding almost with how bright it is.
Yeah.
But we're like right at the knife edge where things haven't quite come into fruition yet, but everything's in place. Xbox has 23 studios with the acquisition of Bethesda. Prior to it, it was sitting on like I think 13 or 14 or something like that. Sony, for comparison, had. How much did they have? 13 first-party studios. It's almost double. That's crazy.
Well, this is like as of today, that it's 23 to 14.
Yes.
Okay.
So
interesting.
We're looking at almost double the first-party output of what Sony are able to put out, and given lots of people have made different arguments for the the quality versus quantity sort of thing, and Sony have obviously had a killer fucking generation.
Better than Xbox in the
Oh,
last in recent years by quite some margin.
I mean, yeah, from like 2015 onwards, Jim Ryan, CEO of Sony, and everyone there really just decided to drink an elixir of strength, and just
Yeah,
I don't know what they
they
did,
decided to.
but everything they pumped out was absolute gold. And I mean that does kind of bring us to where I wanted to go next, because it was only around 2015 that pivoting started happening. When the consoles launched in 2013, Xbox's lineup was really good, and the PlayStation 4's really wasn't. Actually, like it's because of obviously that everything that happened with the Xbox One launch kind of seemed to put a fog of war over how good the launch games were. You know, if we think about it, you know, there was like Forza 5, I think, was on launch. There was Rise, there was Titanfall. This is all in the like launch window. Um,
Yeah,
I know I'm missing some more. Killer
yeah.
Instinct,
There's
like,
Killer Instinct.
and this isn't
Great.
even including the smaller stuff, you know, like Power Star Golf, Loco Cycle, everyone's favorite game. I know
Yeah,
this is all
totally played those.
small
Yeah,
fry stuff. Yeah, it's a fucking weird game that was, but
yeah.
yeah, but like it was really good, and I think so. That's kind of what I wanted to ask. Like, what do you think now that we're kind of, you know, we're into next gen now? We're into next gen. Like, what do you think about like where both consoles are at and where sort of gaming's moving now that we're at the beginning of this?
Um, I think where both consoles are at right now is, I think they're a very similar sort of standard. I think I don't think either sort of console manufacturer, you know, Xbox, Sony, or even Nintendo, really have an edge up on each other. I think, I think you kind of all start in the race at the exact same point for this generation.
Hmm.
You know, because I do think that a lot of the stuff I'm looking forward to, at least for Xbox, you know, still kind of doesn't really have a date, or you know, if it is a date, it's sort of, you know, maybe the later end of this year or like early next year.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how impactful Xbox will be this year. Obviously, I know there's definitely some stuff. There are some big things coming out. But then it's the same. It's the same for PlayStation as well. You know, a lot of their big titles, like God of War, and I mean they did the most recent Last of Us as well, so there won't be another installment of that anytime soon. But like, that's not.
It's getting a movie
That's
though.
not. Yeah, that's true. It is getting a movie.
Tom
Probably
Holland.
be trash.
Well, yeah.
No, that's Tom Holland. That's Uncharted. That's not.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Uncharted.
is it? And then Pedro, what's his name? Pedro Pascal or something is the guy from Game of Thrones and other stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's even a Borderlands movie. That's gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Fucking,
but yeah, so you know those sort of things that I don't know. I think this generation, at least so far, it hasn't absolutely blown me out of the water. Like I have the most recent Xbox. I have the Series X. I always get confused. I actually have to think about it for a second.
I have the most recent console.
Yeah, the names aren't. They're not named the best. Let's just put it this way.
I
I'd
have
rather it
console
have
A
just
and
been
console
called.
B.
Yeah, I'd rather of them just called it Xbox Scarlet or whatever the project
Be
was
nice,
called.
wouldn't
To
it?
be honest.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, obviously I have the most recent console, and so do you. And they're fantastic. Like don't get me wrong, I love playing everything at 60,
Hmm.
like minimum, and 4K and everything. It's great, but it hasn't sort of blown me out of the water with new tech yet. I
Hmm.
mean, even the most recent game, what was that game where you could
The medium.
split between realms? Yeah, the medium. Like I've been playing that a bit, and sure, it's okay. It's not really an action game or anything like that. It's very Resident Evil esque in its puzzle solving. It's quite slow. It's pick up an object and find where that object goes, and sort of like very sort of calm puzzle solving. But it's really not like graphically impressive. It's okay. Don't get me wrong, but I could definitely see that running on one of the previous consoles just fine.
Hmm.
But yeah, you know, there's been some okay stuff. But I mean, yeah, to answer your question, they're pretty equal at the moment. Um, Obviously, I'm a bit more leaning towards Xbox, just in the fact that that's what we play every day. It's how we connect. It's how we sort of stay in touch with each other. It's one of the reasons why I've stayed with Xbox. That and the massive game library I've built, and I don't want to lose. But yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I see them all at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your sort of view on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that I think PlayStation 5 has probably come out the gate a bit stronger on the software.
I mean, just Demon Souls really made it come out stronger.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean,
that game looks glorious.
Yeah, no, it does look
magnificent.
Glorious. But it is neither here nor there. Like, I think, especially with the restricted supply, like it makes it very, very difficult. It is obviously good. If I had a PlayStation 5, I'd definitely be playing Demon Souls, and I'd definitely be playing Miles Morales as well. But these are, I mean, you can call Miles Morales an expansion or whatever, like a standalone sequel. But like it's not a huge like new game. Demon Souls is ultimately a remake. So yeah, no, it's cool, and there's a clear lead there. Like if you're someone who's into the newest sort of game, like that's going to be for you. But what I think Xbox has come out really strong with, and it's their message they've been touting for ages, like compatibility, and they've been really good on like the software side.
I think they're much more pro consumer. I think they're all about, as cliche as it sounds, joining hands and gaming together, and like they're very message. They seem more community based, and even in regards to making cross-platform stuff, like I feel like they're much more open to it than the likes of Sony. And I love, by cross-platform I mean cross-play. Where you can sort of, like for example, Outriders coming out. You can play that with your PlayStation buddy as well as your Xbox buddy. I love that. Like, I wish there was more of that. The whole console war shit is so stupid.
Limiting.
I understand it. Yeah, it's limiting. I understand why it's there, and it drives sales for the company having rivalry. I understand that, but yeah, it just ultimately it doesn't. It hurts the consumer. But yeah.
I think that there has been. I mean, that we haven't even touched on Games Pass. Like obviously Games Pass is pretty much the biggest reason to have an Xbox right now.
100%.
I think in terms of thinking about what the Xbox has had at the beginning of the launch of the Series X, there's been we've had Gears Tactics, which I'm playing at the moment, and it is really good. It's nothing that's going to draw as many eyeballs as something like Miles Morales or Demon Souls. And it's also not a graphical push, it's a graphical showcase, whereas Demon Souls is, because it's obviously exclusive to the PlayStation 5 hardware. And we've had Hive Busters, which was came out again. It's not exclusive.
It was good. It was good fun.
It was good fun, but again, it's not a system seller, so it is what it is. No. And then obviously the Medium, timed exclusive, like you said, it's it reviewed fairly well. I think it was mid-70s or whatever. Pretty cool. Seems like a fairly middling to good game. So that that's fine. I think, like you said, ultimately, I actually don't think if there is any lead to be had by a console, well, I guess just talking about PlayStation versus Xbox, if there is any lead to be had, it's from the momentum of last gen. Anything that the PlayStation 5 has going forward now is running off the momentum of the PlayStation 4. However...
Carry on.
I was to say, however, like there is... I think PlayStation have been a lot I would have said a few months ago, made their 2021 roadmap a lot clearer and a lot more appealing, whereas for Xbox it is all a bit up in the air at the moment, which is what makes it such a good time to start doing a podcast on Xbox. I think PlayStation have they said that this year supposedly, it's going to be Ratchet and Clank coming in quarter 1, quarter 2. They said launch window, but we're actually looking at June, which is pushing 6.5 months. Launch window is a flexible term.
Has it actually got a release date yet?
Yeah, so it's early June. So it's not really launch window. I think it was a little bit cheeky to say it was launch window, but whatever.
It's not.
They said Gran Turismo. They said God of War is coming out this year, which is nobody believed it. I remember when I was watching it live, immediately there were comments saying this is going out 2021. So nobody believed it for a second. But
all we've seen is a title card.
Yeah, exactly.
From it, so. I can't imagine it. you would have something would have surfaced by now. Like
Yeah,
even gameplay from bloody like Elden Ring has surfaced. And,
yeah.
like no one thought that was going to happen
So,
this year.
and then
It's not.
Horizon, as well as another one, Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. I think the sequel is, isn't it? So that's like
Yeah.
they've made it clear. It's like this is what's in the pipeline.
Hmm.
And like there's like a rough idea. Like I wouldn't. There has been some whispers that Horizon might get pushed back into 2022. And Gran Turismo they've already delayed into 2022. So we're coming to that bottleneck of COVID now, where things are going to have to. It's either single, things either release when they were meant to, buggy, or they get pushed back. So
Yeah.
that's where everyone's at. But there is still like the question of like a lot of Xbox stuff is up in the air, and that's all that fun stuff that we're going to get to talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's fair to say that stuff being up in the air, and even in regards to PlayStation having a roadmap, I think it's pretty fair to give developers and these studios a bit of leeway considering the pandemic everyone's in. I don't think everything's going to go according to plan this year,
Mm-hmm.
and you know you can't really blame them. It kind of is what it is. It's so hard to sort of do these things to these timelines, let alone when your entire sort of pattern shifts and changes because of the world. But
Oh, definitely. I don't envy anybody making video games right now. Ever
no,
actually,
I mean
but right now especially.
just development in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with it remotely, and it is it's tough, and it's perfectly doable. But yeah, I mean, yeah, regardless, I think on the topic of still talking about edgeways, I think each console has its own bragging right in regards to saying like where they sort of lie this year so far. I feel us is a huge reason why Xbox could be potentially slightly ahead in some people's minds because Games Pass is insane. But then recently talking to my brother who got a PlayStation 5, and one of the things he's been talking about the most is their controller and just how insane their controller is
Mhm.
for the PS5. And the Xbox controller, as much as I love how it feels, I hate having analog sticks on the same level, personally, for like PlayStation. But
Yeah.
they haven't really done anything new. It's been basically the same controller since 360, let's be honest, with some ergonomical changes
Mm.
here and there.
You telling me you don't like
And
that share button?
is there a
We're
share
making
button
movements. Well, yeah, there's a share button on the new ones. There's a little share button on it.
even on the Elite V2?
Not on the Elite V2. Don't. You're asking a bit
Oh,
much.
okay. Well, I use the Elite V2, so
Yeah.
I actually didn't know there was a share button
Yeah, well,
because
there
I
is.
instantly left the controller that came with my Xbox in the
Yeah.
box.
Well, but this is the thing. This is the thing. I don't know what it is. Xbox's like hardware team have been fucking stellar. Like it's led by I think I want to say Jason Ronald is the dude with the big beard, and he that might just be console design, but for like the other hardware level stuff, like because they talked a lot about DLI, which is the dynamic latency input with the new controllers. They said they're going to update the software for the old controllers so it works for them, but they haven't done that yet. So supposedly, I don't know if you've used the new controller at all. By the sounds of it, you haven't. But they do feel a bit crispier. Like they do. Like the idea is that they reduce the input lag to communicate with the console by like up to like 50, 60, 70%. So and you do feel it. So I'm kind of waiting on that to come to like the other Elite controllers. But like those sorts of like hardware level features, they've just been killing it with like Games Pass. We've just had the frame rate boost. That's on our news thing to talk about. But things like that. Games Pass, backwards compatibility, forwards compatibility of the old controllers. Like all of this stuff is ridiculous. Like you're absolutely spoiled to be an Xbox gamer now who maybe is pushed for time and doesn't have the time to play every new exclusive or every new big game coming out. You're absolutely spoiled at the moment on Xbox, to be honest. But you are still missing those big hitters, like without a doubt. Like, there's no doubt at all.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to sort of cover over that before we start going into sort of bigger points?
No, not really. I feel like we probably went a little bit over on that anyway. Not that we have an exact itinerary, but we did talk a little bit.
Into the cracks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, well, I mean, I've got I mean, the big thing that one of the big things that is kind of happening, obviously, is that supposedly the Bethesda deal should be closing imminently this week. We should be getting an update today, and in fact, there has already been some official documentation about the closure of it. And I had a look on Twitter and online and stuff because I'm not a lawyer and I don't know legal things, but supposedly it's happening very soon. It looks like it's been approved because it was getting put through the antitrust regulators in the EU. So like there was like a big thing about, are they going to delay it because Bethesda are getting sued for Fallout 4 for something that happened with that.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
It was it was to do with their modding workshop on PC. I can't remember the exact details, but the thing they said that you could make mods for free or something, and then they ended up changing their mind or something.
Oh yeah, I remember something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But like by the sounds of it, it's going through. You know, it was already very, very slim chance that anything was actually going to get delayed or actually going to happen. But for the more exciting news, anyway, because I mean, like hopefully this time next week we can speak about how it has actually gone through. And I'm expecting a blog post or like an official something quite soon.
Yeah.
What do we think? We've had a Nintendo Direct. We've had a Poke Direct, for the lack of a better term, and we've had a Sony State of Play as well. They were fine. Like some of the stuff in the Nintendo one was pretty cool. The Sony State of Play was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed off some cool stuff there.
Didn't Nintendo show off that cool looking 10 frames a second Pokemon game?
Yeah, that's the one.
coming out in 2020, whenever their hardware can handle it.
It was made in Microsoft Paint. It did look a bit weird, but there was and so these shows have been like kind of middling for a lot of people. What do you, if Xbox has a show, which I'm expecting, a pre-E3 show? I mean, I don't know if they will, but what would you expect to see at a pre-E3 show?
I would definitely expect to see some more Halo Infinite. At least I would like to. That would be pretty cool.
Well, have you been keeping up with the blog posts? Because they're doing a monthly blog for that. I think I sent some pictures to you the other day.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Some of the sandbox pictures and stuff like that, which look excellent.
They're really good.
Yeah, they look great. So I mean, I'd like to see more of that. Personally, what else?
I mean, that is the big question. But like, do you expect, for example, like I've said this to you before, but like
we wouldn't see any Avowed, would we, or anything like that? That's so.
I mean, that sounds like E3 level stuff. That's the thing. Like, you've got to think if they're doing an event, like if they do like a little video, are they just
the big guns?
Exactly? Are they just going to be like, "Hi, it's me. My name's Phil Spencer. Looking cute. Here's Bethesda. Just bought it." Like, and is that it? And is that kind of all we get? And it's like, they're under us now. Hope maybe we get some news on how the exclusivity is going to work, because that's obviously been a huge talking point. It's been driving the Xbox. It's been driving the gaming community pretty mad in general, actually. So I mean, maybe we get some level of confirmation on that. Do we see any other games? I don't know if we do. That's the thing. I think if we do get a video, we just get a confirmation. Maybe, a bit of a talking around the exclusivity. Maybe something to do with Starfield, and I think that's maybe it.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, maybe it's just one of those things where they kind of just lay out a little bit what the future might hold. In the sense of, like you said, we're pretty much bankrupt buying Bethesda. This has to work.
Yeah.
Philly comes on looking like a homeless man.
So I had to sell my shirt.
Yeah. And maybe just, I don't know, maybe just giving some more sort of release dates, maybe, or just at least. But then again, release dates, exactly. Yeah, I can't see it being too crazy.
Yeah. So
I can't see it blowing me away.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, none of the others really have blown anyone away either.
And I've got to be honest, it's probably why. It's probably because we're in quarter 2. What are we in? March? Is that quarter?
Yeah, it's still quarter one.
Yeah, we're still in quarter one. So
quarter one.
these companies are just giving you a little teaser, a little taste, a morsel of like what's to come. So all these companies are just giving you a little bit. It's essentially going to be overflow, I reckon. And boy, does Xbox have a lot of overflow at the moment. So I reckon they can't, like you sort of said yourself, lots of umming and ahhing. I don't think they put anything big. If they do any announcement, any sort of show, I think it will be just like the others. It will be kind of a middling show, nothing huge. They just kind of say, this is Bethesda, and if we're really lucky, we get a slight sliver of Starfield, which is rumoured to be 2021. But this is kind of all conjecture at this point anyway.
Yeah. All right, yeah. I would agree with that. I do think, I don't know, I have a feeling that there might be some Halo stuff there, especially from the quite poor reception it got at the last E3.
The showcase, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. I thought it looked great, but obviously it got a little bit butchered. I don't think it was absolutely slayed like online, but
no.
I think it was there were some negatives and there were some positives.
Yeah.
Obviously I thought it looked great. I thought it was very much going back to its roots. Very sandboxy, very cool. Like nice and colourful. It's not trying too hard to be serious and gritty and all that. I think it's embracing what Halo is. And if you do go back and look at the previous Halos, they are they are colourful, and they are extravagant. The design is quite cool. It's not a fucking brown Call of Duty. It's so I thought it looked great. But yeah, based on that sort of reception, maybe we'll see some, but again, it might just be some sort of like panoramic views looking around a sandbox or something like that.
Yeah.
Or someone walking through a valley or something like that. It won't be like insane, but just based on poor reception, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. I can't imagine them not giving Halo like the front and center showcase, especially with this ongoing thing they've got with the blogs. Like that's kind of the little bits of morsels that we get. So I can't see them doubling up on morsels before dinner.
Yeah,
might be my best.
You don't think there's going to be any form of Halo?
I think there would be like E3, but if they do a pre-3 show, I don't think if they do a pre-3, I don't think we get any Halo. Let's move on then, because like we've done that to death. So I did want to quickly go over like frames per second boost. That was the new hardware level stuff that got introduced. I want to say a few weeks ago now, and the initial offering of games was a bit limited. I think just to name a few off the top of my head, Far Cry 4 was there, Watch Dogs 2 was there, Super Lucky's Tale. Everybody's favourite game.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Super Lucky, Super fucking style. And obviously, but it is like amazing tech. Like that is, it's pretty astounding that they've gone from for Super Lucky, that was there as the kind of poster child for putting it to 120 frames a second. And I had a quick look into the tech behind it, and everybody's. If you're watching the show, then you probably already know how it works, but it tricks the system into making it think there are more frames than there actually are. But I don't know if you read about this. They struggle to get it into some games because it fucks with the physics, because you know how some games have the physics tied to the frames. So like, it's just really funny. Like imagine like going Skyrim and there's just like jars like continually like slapping, like they're just spawning over and over again. So anyway, but yeah, it's really cool. I'd love to. When I initially read it, I was a bit disappointed because I was hoping it would kind of be a system level thing and it would just automatically get applied to everything. But I think I was just being a bit naive and optimistic. Because they the publishers have got to approve it. The devs have to approve it because like if they want to make a remastered or they want to do a patch themselves, they're going to do that. They're not going to rely on Xbox to do it. So hopefully we see it get expanded like quite significantly over the next like 6 months, because that's a really big deal. Like there are loads of games I'd go back and play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's just a good thing. It's a good thing now, and it's just a good thing for the future too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's great now, but it's only going to get better. Like, you know, it's not like drop dead exciting, but it's pretty cool, and there are a lot of games I would probably go back and play.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, for sure, it's great,
Cool
and
stuff.
it's only going to get better. Yeah,
Cool
like,
stuff for sure. There's I mean, again, it's kind of that doubling down on Xbox's commitment to compatibility and
yeah,
enhancing your library and conserving
yeah.
old
I mean,
games, things like that.
it kind of reminds me of when they were, like you said, when they were building the backwards compatibility
Compatibility.
library.
Yeah.
It started really small, but then it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and then there's just so much
Absolutely.
backwards compat now. It's just going to be the same thing with this. Eventually, everything is just going to be super great and running at extremely high frame rates. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool stuff. I did want to touch on newest Gears news because, I mean, why not? It's Gears. It's Xbox first party, so it'd be hard to avoid it.
Love Gears.
They've obviously been doing their, I don't want to. I mean, maybe it is games as a service. So they've been doing their continued support. Let's call it that, quote unquote. And they're now on Operation 6, which is what they call their seasons. If you aren't familiar. Very recently, and everybody was. I don't know if you saw this, but everybody thought it was. They were teasing like a Gears 2 remaster. Or I should call it Gears of War 2 remaster.
That'd be cool.
But it turns out it was just Gears 6, but they're adding some characters from Gears 2, so it was a big bait. It was a big old bait.
Yeah.
And as part of that, well, maybe it's part of that, but I did see something today, so this is fairly breaking news that the the acid bird from Hivebusters, spoilers.
Yeah. Potential spoilers. Whatever.
It's in the trailers.
Is what it is.
Really, but that thing it's in the trailers has started appearing in Horde mode. So then they just thought it was a funny thing to just chuck in. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Woo!
That's great. I love that. I thought that was probably one of my favorite boss fights or fights in Gears of War for a very long time.
Yeah,
I think we both very much enjoyed that. Again, I won't touch on it too much for spoilers because obviously, there are some huge Gears fans out there. Gears is a massive game for Xbox. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic fight. And just the overall design of the thing was brilliant.
Yeah, cool.
I'd love to see that in Horde mode, sort of, and just how it interacts with the map as well, because you kind of just you fought it in its own little arena before. It'd be kind of cool to see how it fits on the map. That's very cool.
I thought the boss at the end of Gears 5 was really cool as well. Actually, do you remember it?
End of Gears 5.
For everybody, we played together. Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but spoilers ahead in advance. You can talk about it now.
Yeah. Okay. We probably shouldn't. Yeah, we probably shouldn't bother spoiler cover. I guess if we just give warning, that's fine. It was the Kraken. Do you remember in the desert, and you were like on this oil rig, and like it had like tentacles and shit. It was literally called the Kraken. I was really a big fan of that. I thought it was really rad. I don't know, because I like it when they introduce like new enemies into Gears, because Gears is kind of in this weird place where it's kind of a lot of its shit keeps getting recycled, and I'm like, why? Because this universe is so cool, but there's also no like they haven't set the boundaries for it yet. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just thought it was very
cool. I mean, the fact is, it's an alien species. They can really do whatever they want with it. I mean, for crying out loud, they drew up like concept art of a corpser. I mean, that thing's outrageous. Like you can invent some pretty cool bosses. There's really no limit. But yeah, I do know what you mean. Like a lot of them are just like recycled. Like I remember one of the fights in Gears 5 as well was like a recycled berserker, wasn't it? Just a berserker covered in ice.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what? I kind of liked that fight.
It's a cool fight.
I know we had a bit of it had like a cheese or two move, didn't it? Where it
was cheesy as hell, man. Just one shot you out of nowhere.
Frozen
but
cheese,
But yeah, it was a great fight. Like I have nothing against it, but it's recycle-esque. But
Gears 5 was sick though, man. It was a sick campaign.
Gears 5 was sick. I did enjoy it
Yeah,
a lot. I enjoyed it more than Gears 4 campaign.
yeah, without
Like
a doubt.
no question in my mind.
I had
Um,
there was something else I wanted to touch on, and I know this is really funny because I don't know if you like go around on the forums, but like some of the bigger forums that I sort of traipse around for insider information and stuff, and generally just a lot of people that are really cool. Reset Era is a big one, and then there's like kind of a spin-off one of that called Xbox Era, and they have their own podcast and stuff. Anyway, everyone there is really cool, but on the forums there's like this really fucking like nauseous talking point that keeps coming up of
okay.
Coalition, so devs of Gears, um,
Yeah.
making a new IP. I don't know if you remember back in 2012, maybe 2013, around the Xbox One launch, we had like a showing of a demo from a studio called Black Tusk Studios. Does that ring any bells?
It does. Yeah.
And the concept that we saw was like a bit Japanese, and there were people like scaling a building, kind of like Rainbow. It was like Rainbow Siege esque, but a bit quicker. We didn't see any gameplay;
Yeah.
it was just concept, and everybody dubbed it Shanghaiist, like heist and Shanghai.
Hmm.
And that's turned into Coalition. Black Tusk Studios turned into Coalition because Epic left, and they said, right, you're doing Gears now. So ever since then,
Yeah.
everybody's been wondering, like, is the Coalition, like, do they have, like, a new IP in their back pocket? But like, they're big. Like, Coalition is a big team, and this fucking talking point that we keep going to is... And do you know what? I really agree, and I'm going to bring it up because it's really funny that, like, I think they're kind of a bit wasted on Gears nowadays. I think Gears is great. They're all good. They're all good games. They're all really good, but I feel like they draw limited interest now. And those guys, all the Gears games look phenomenal. They play phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's not like when you look at 343 and their handling of Halo, where you get like I like all their games, but they get mixed reactions. Whereas you look at how Coalition have handled Gears 4 and 5, and like there's maybe one or two things that people aren't fans of here and there, but they're considered generally very good games.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've in terms of looking at it from a fan's perspective. I'm not a huge Gears fan. I'm not a die-hard Gears fan.
No,
But I do think that die-hard Gears fans they like 4 and 5 less than 1, 2, and 3. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I think overall, which I think is very understandable. I think just naturally, if you tell someone their favorite gaming franchise is now being developed by somebody else, they are
yeah.
just naturally, before even playing it, they're going to not like it as much
Well, it's an impossible task,
because
really, isn't it?
gamers are toxic.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think they've handled it very well. Like you said, they're very great games. But how often do Gears games come out? Is it every single year? It's not every single
no, no,
year,
no,
is
no,
it?
no.
It's like two, three, maybe.
Gears 4 was not launch year, maybe 2015.
Yeah. So it's not, yeah. So it's not quite like going down the Call of Duty route, where they're
No,
just getting
definitely
churned
not.
out. But
20,
yeah, I
2016.
agree. And I mean, I'm guessing where you're going with this is the fact that you don't mind Coalition having the freedom to experiment and try something new, especially as they've kind of got Gears, nailed to
Yeah,
an extent. Like sure, you got to draw up more story ideas and stuff like that, or where the characters are going to go and everything. But like, you could probably split off the team a
yeah.
little bit
Well, I
and
mean,
and
that's
and develop. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. Like it's the question of should the coalition have a longer leash, I guess, rather, and like allow them to make a new IP? Like, yeah, split the team into two, let one of them carry it. Like Gears could do, in my humble opinion, could do with a bit of a break anyway. But I don't think that's a bad thing. You look at the gaps between some of the other franchises, and like it's huge. Like Gears 4 was 2016. I just looked, and Gears 5 came out
mm,
like what 2019. Three, like they could. I just think the Coalition is a really good team. They make such good games, and I just feel like they're one of Xbox's like premium studios. Like even with Bethesda, I think they're really good. And if you just like sat them down and just like go and make what you want, I think they could kick ass with that. So anyway, yeah,
yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up because that's a
Plus, I just
constant
love.
talking point.
I just, who wouldn't want a new IP? Like,
Yeah.
right? It's just something new to play.
Yeah.
It's great that I completely encourage
Yeah.
new IPs.
And it has been something
Or,
that has been like a talking point of like Xbox needs more new IPs, but yeah, they're all coming. We've seen
yeah,
them all, but it's just
yeah, yeah. There's plenty on the way.
it just needs to be
Plenty
more
on the way.
concrete. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So moving on more to like not necessarily Xbox stuff, but that's okay. More stuff that's like adjacent to Xbox is wider news in the gaming industry. That obviously Anthem is big dead, the dead
Big dead.
rip in peace.
Yeah.
That was I don't know. I
Sad.
don't know, man. Yeah,
I think it was sad.
I think it's sad.
Not solely because I spent £55 on it, and now like we did play it a lot. To be fair, we were a huge fan of that genre, especially sort of playing it in the group of friends we have. It's fantastic, and I thought Anthem was great in certain aspects. But yeah, I mean, it's not just for the fact I spent £55 on it, and they kind of gave up on it. That's sad, but like, it's sad because I know the game had potential. Like, that's what makes it really sad, and they did kind of just give up on it. But I understand why, and I actually called it when we were talking about it sort of privately.
Yeah, you did.
I did say it was going to happen. Like, it's just too much of a risk. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, when it happened, when the news broke, everybody was like, "Oh, no surprise here," like it was dead. But I was just, I don't know. I didn't think they'd pull the plug because EA. I mean, I know investors and shareholders, or investors say what is appealing to shareholders, but like they were touting for a while since they announced Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0, whatever. They were like, "Oh, Anthem will remain like our premium live service game."
Yeah.
And it must fucking suck to be on the Anthem task force, let's call them. They were 30 people who were dedicated to like pumping content into Anthem, getting it ready for like a relaunch. And yeah, it's just shit, man. It's just I want to say it's EA just being EA, but I don't like demonizing people like that really. So I don't know, but it just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad for sure, because when I heard it was getting a 2.0, I was really excited. And yeah, and then it just went dead silent, and then it just died.
It just kind of
So
farted and died.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this exists, like a year and a half later,
Not,
and then it didn't exist a month later. So
not
it's
but with a whimper.
yeah, yeah. So it's sad, and especially as yeah, like I said, we're a huge fan of that genre. We played Destiny 1 to death. We played Destiny 2 a lot. We're currently looking at Outriders as a potential new sort of investment of our time. And because we played the Outriders demo and quite liked it, we got back into Division, all that sort of stuff. They're all very similar games, but for me, Anthem did kind of have that special like premise to it that kind of separated it from the others. I did really like it, and yeah, it's like the 10th time I said it, but I'm sad.
You love it. You bloody loves it.
Yeah,
bloody loves Anthem. Yeah,
yeah.
It was quite the moment. There was quite a lot of community stuff going on, wasn't there, with different fan bases saying "We believe in Anthem" or something like that, like hashtag "We believe in Anthem."
Yeah. Got quite a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one silver lining to this, the good thing that's come out of it is that I think EA went on the for good PR or whatever, but they went on the record to say, we're gonna be less involved in developers' games from now on, and they had announced. I don't know what, I don't know if it actually was anyway, the speculation and or official announcement, I can't remember which, is that Dragon Age was the next one, was supposed to be a games as a service, and they've gone back on that and now said that's not going to be the case because the team wants to make a single player game. So that's
fair enough. Great. Dragon Age is a games as a service. I kind of see weird how that would work, but great. I like Dragon Age games, and I'd like to see them stay as single player games. So fantastic.
Not that I think there's anything wrong with games as a service inherently. It's just that sort of game is a bit
with that formula.
It's a bit ill-fitted for gas, so probably not.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Elden Ring, what the fuck? Elden Ring, what the fuck?
2021.
That Elden thing. For those, Tim has Elden Ring and his fantasy critic for this year, and I keep telling him it's not coming out this year, but he's delusional and thinks it's coming out this year.
Of course, it's coming out.
Although I am surprised to see gameplay coming out this far along, or rather this early. So I don't know what happened with that. That was a thing that happened.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm going to claim I was expecting that because I picked the game and I totally know it's coming. Yeah.
Did you see it?
No. I did see some of it. Yeah. Not all of it. I haven't actually sat down. It looks good. I think it looks familiar to stuff we've seen already. It's a FromSoft game. I love From Software. Don't get me wrong, they're fantastic, but their formulas are very similar. Even the likes of Bloodborne and stuff like that, which people argue to death, like it's not Dark Souls, it's way different. It's like, okay, yeah, it's different, but it still is. Like, let's be honest, you can look at it and anyone could tell that's a From Software game.
Yeah.
Looking at it, if they were like, pick a, say who that was made by, and they'd be like, oh yeah, it's From Software. Sure.
You can pick it out from a crowd, can you?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it looks good. And I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not like crazy hyped for it. Because, I wasn't even like crazy hyped for like Dark Souls 3 when that came out, even though I am a huge fan. I played Dark Souls 2 to death.
I think the thing is, you just know what you're getting, don't you? You know what you're getting with a FromSoft game. For most of them, anyway. There are some exceptions to that, like Sekiro. I haven't played Sekiro yet, but I know that that's meant to be a bit of a departure from their typical. But Elden Ring, based on those snippets of gameplay, very much looked like a sidestep of what a Dark Souls game would be, which isn't a bad thing. They're like you say, they're all fabulous games. It's just it just is what it is. And there's obviously so much excitement in the community around it because George R. R. Martin is involved. Writer of story of Song of Fire and Ice, Game of Thrones, Throne Boy.
Yeah.
He's involved in that. So yeah, and there is an understandable amount of excitement behind that game. Surprised to see gameplay. Looks great. Can't wait to see more. Supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, there was some thought that it might be appearing at Bandai Namco's show. Bandai Namco show, you ask? Well,
okay. Yes.
What was it? So a trademark was made for Bandai Namco Next. So that was the quote unquote thing. So everybody thinks, this is Bandai Namco. They're doing their own show now in lieu of E3 or whatever. And everybody was thinking that Xbox will get a snatch up marketing rights for Elden Ring. I don't think anybody knows yet. And anyway, one of the industry insiders, Jeffrey Grubb, said that it probably wasn't going to be at an Xbox. If there is a pre-3 Xbox event, it's not going to be there. So nobody knows. Maybe it's Bandai Namco. Who fucking knows with that game anymore? It's so elusive.
It's a fatty question mark, that game.
It really is.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were just like, it was concept art all along.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, it just never was a thing.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Just the most elaborate gaming bait.
April 1st, George R. R. Martin records himself just farting into the camera and saying, "It was all a lie."
Yeah, it's all a lie.
April Fools.
Anyway, it's a weird one.
That's Elden Ring. That's Elden Ring for you. Next up, we've got Phil Spencer's shelf. That's the news.
What's Phil Spencer's shelf? Yeah, I kind of saw that and I was like, let's see what he says about this.
Yeah. Well, so there's been that sort of ongoing thing where like Phil has been on camera. Well, it started with the Series S. Like he did an interview like last year, and then it turned out once they revealed the Series S, everyone was like, "What the fuck?" The dude had a Series behind him.
Oh, I remember this.
It was the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, like the whole time. Yeah. It was there, the rice cooker ass looking Series S, and so now every time he's on camera at home, there's like this forensic level like investigation of like what's
everyone's
going
like.
on. People like blue lighting it. Yeah, that's it. You're like zooming into like the pixels, and so like, and to be fair, every time now there has been. So he's definitely cottoned on. He knows what he's doing.
He's playing the game as well.
He's playing the game. He's playing us
Nice.
like a fiddle.
I love Philly. Philly cheesesteak. It's the
Philly
best.
So the most recent, because did you see when they first announced the intent to acquire Bethesda? Him, Todd Howard, and fuck, what's his name? Phil? No, Pete Hines. Pete Hines, that's his name. He's the community manager of Bethesda, I want to say. Anyway, they all had an interview together, and if you watch it, at one point in the interview, Phil just loses his mind. He just gets this look in his eye, and he just starts pointing. And I feel like at the time, everybody just thought, oh, it's just, Phil being enthusiastic about having Todd Howard on the show. Anyway, fast forward 2 months, Indiana Jones gets revealed. The dude's pointing towards a fucking, an Indiana Jones thing on Todd Howard's shelf, and this whole time, he's pointing at Todd Howard. And he's so uncomfortable. He's, really red, Phil, stop it, you're gonna blow it. You're gonna ruin the surprise, man. Stop it. Anyway, so...
Oh my God.
There's clearly this thing now where things are going on in backgrounds. Phil had a recent... Do you know what? I don't even know what the interview was for. But he had a recent interview, and he had a very busy shelf. Very busy. Busier than usual.
Oh, wow.
And there was a Kojima Studios related thing there. And so everybody, immediately people have been like...
busting nuts.
Kojima Studios acquired by Xbox Games? By Daddy Spencer, and there's loads of other. I think what else was on there? There was something else on there actually that was that turned out to be a thing. I can't remember, but anyway, that's just this fun thing. So now every time he's on camera, the poor dude is getting absolutely scanned from top to bottom.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love it though. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of fun. I really think one time we should just come on camera with just a cardboard sign that just says Starfield's coming out November 2021.
Yeah,
just toss it behind him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. Phil Shelf.
So potentially something Kojima related.
Maybe who knows
in the near future.
It was very busy, so he's definitely throwing red herrings in there. Like I said, he knows what he's doing.
He's such a snake.
He's such a snake.
Love him.
So, speaking of Starfield, we also have had, in the last maybe 6 months, there have been a couple of supposedly leaked screenshots of what the game, of really random shit. You can't really tell much. It's of space stations, and it's not really they're rubbish photos. You can't really see much. But it looked kind of it looked like a good upgrade from the Skyrim engine. Supposedly, it's the biggest. Toddy boy says it's the big upgrade the engine's had since Morrowind or whatever. Ever. Yeah.
Since ever.
It's going to run your lives. So anyway, there was this screenshot that came out. I want to say 3 weeks ago now, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it looked really good. And I don't know why this has turned out to be a bit of a non-story because we're filming this late. But anyway, the guy who leaked it then said, I've been told that this image is fake now, so...
Oh,
I know. The picture looked really good. Again, it was kind of nothing, but it was kind of the surface of a planet or something. Hopefully the game looks that good. I'm kind of... Yeah. Starfield's one of those ones that nobody really knows much about, but because it's their first new IP in a long time, it generates a lot of excitement.
Yeah, for sure. And, it has a lot of potential. Even just based on the sort of premise of the game. It has a crazy amount of potential. So yeah, it's not something I know much about. It's not something anyone really knows much about, like you said, but
it's in space.
Yeah, it's in space.
It's in space. Can tell you that.
Stars in a field.
Stars in a field.
Field of space. Yeah.
With ships. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it's all the good stuff.
Yeah, that's that. It's like I said, it's one of the biggest speculations at the moment. Is not only about will Bethesda titles be exclusive, and I don't think we have to do this to death again because hopefully we're going to be hearing about this fairly soon, but maybe we'll go over it next week. But suppose Phil keeps bringing up Starfield in interviews about it. He keeps bringing it up, and I can't help but think if they want to end the no games narrative, they need kind of a clean break, and they just need to come out and say Starfield is coming out as exclusive, whether it's 2021 or not, whatever. That's the first big Bethesda game that's going to come out. Whether they do or don't, I don't know, but it's kind of that's their chance to show that the Xbox ecosystem is worth investing into in terms of games.
Yeah, for
new
sure.
things.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year, we've got things like Microsoft Flight Simulator looks great, bit niche, but that's fine. And then there is one other thing I'm forgetting for 2021, but supposedly there are two big. I know this isn't on the notes, but supposedly there are two big unannounced games still coming out in 2021 for Xbox, which may or may not be exclusive. Apparently they will be, but no insiders are hinting yet. But it could be things like Wolfenstein 3. But again, like the question comes out, like, is that going to be exclusive? It's the third in a trilogy. Would Phil do that? I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it is, it'll probably just be like timed, right?
Maybe it's been
Like,
part of the conversation.
um, yeah, it seems a bit. I don't know. I want to say illegal to be like Wolfenstein 1 and 2 are on everything. Wolfenstein 3 is on this one only. Like I feel like it will probably be timed. Obviously I don't know if it just seems ridiculous.
I don't know. It's just
but,
where we're at, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like the famous words that Phil gave was that the exclusivity will be case by case. So.
Okay.
All I can think is, and like I said, everyone's done this to death, but they've spent 7.5 billion. The extra money they would get from PlayStation's 5s does not selling on even PlayStations in general, not just 5s, but does not outweigh the revenue stream and just the revenue stream, I guess, of someone coming into an Xbox ecosystem. It's not it's Games Pass. It doesn't matter what you're on, as long as you can access Games Pass. If you're subbed to that, that's a lot of money over a long period of time, and that's what they want. They just want you in that ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just
that's why you can play Games Pass
on
PC without Xbox Live Gold. It's simple.
Yeah.
They just want you in Games Pass. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're pushing.
So hopefully when we return next week, we'll have some more advancements on that, but we'll see.
Yeah, pretty hype.
So one of the other things, sort of a few smaller things that happened really, but one of the other things was that Dead Island 2.
Yes.
Dead Island 2.
Yeah.
It's the game that everybody's been waiting for.
God, when was that first trailer? My God, that was such a long time ago. I remember.
No, you're thinking of Dying Light, aren't you?
Maybe. No. What was the one where the guy was like running, like on the beachfront? And there were like loads of zombies. It was like a jogger in like a white hoodie. That was Dead Island, wasn't it? That was a trailer.
Maybe you have a better memory.
It was such a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Dead Island. The initial Dead Island trailer was.
I think it was Dead Island.
The initial Dead Island trailer was that one. We played Dead Island, didn't we? It was the one where it played backwards and it was sad music and the girl died, but then she was alive and she was a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Dead Island. So they did Dead Island Riptide, I think, and now this is like an official sequel. You're right. It did get announced a while ago, but anyway, they've announced that that's moving to next gen only, which is I don't think we haven't seen that happen yet. A lot of like the hardcore outspoken parts of the community have been calling for a lot of games to be moved just to next gen, but of course they're not going to do that, are they? They're not going to miss out on the revenue of the install base on the Xbox, especially when supply is so constrained at the moment. It's just not happening. I
also just think it's quite interesting that it must have been in development for quite a while, so they must have been building it for the current consoles as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like hardware that is, the game is capable of running on that older hardware, and now suddenly they're just like, actually no, it's only going to be on this one, and it just makes me think I don't know, is that just seems weird to me. You can't build something from the ground up and then,
I reckon at some point, I don't really know what stage of development they're in, but if they've moved past pre-production and into actual development, maybe they got to a stage where they were like, the concepts that we want in the game aren't working in old gen. And they're like, fuck it.
Yeah, it could also just be a fucking a sales sort of tactic, because they've taken so long to get this game out and people have forgotten about it, and now suddenly they're just like, oh, it's a next gen only title. It kind of generates a bit more buzz if they were to just be like, it's kind of just coming out now. It could just be something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe. It's probably going to push the release back a bit, and that's not an easy decision to make, to just leave money on the table like that. So it makes me think that they're going to be waiting until the install base is bigger, and like I said, until the supply isn't constrained anymore. but
Mm.
that's where they're at. Because this is quite interesting actually, because when Halo Infinite, we kind of forgot to mention that actually the Halo-sized gap in the Series X launch, but well, that's fine. When that was announced to be delayed, a lot of people were saying, the reason it looked like shit is because it's a cross-gen, it's ambitious conceptually, like it's huge render distances, giant open world, and a Halo quite dense. So the reason it looks so bad is because they're having to sacrifice, asset quality for resolution and frame rate, because obviously they weren't running at 64K.
For sure.
And so a lot of people were saying, move this just to next gen so it doesn't hamstring the game in general. But this game has been in development. Halo fucking 5. When did Halo 5 come out? Like, this game has been in development for a long time.
I want to say 2016. Was Halo 5?
October 2015. So it's not even a case. It's not like Dead Island, presumably, where they're still in the phase where they can make these pivots. This game's been developed. They've built this from the ground up for cross-gen. It's not happening. They're not going to drop it. It's not that scale. They're past the time of scalability, of being able to scale it that much. It's And the recent screenshots that they've showed has just showed that that was a load of nonsense, really, because these screenshots look like an next-gen game, frankly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult to say without seeing it in motion, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
Anything else to add for that?
No, not really. Like I said, I mean, I think it's a bold move, and I think it's just one of those. Dead Island is just it's a really hard one to sort of grasp, because, like you said, you don't really know what stage of the development it was in before this was pivoted. It's been going on for so long, and we don't know, sort of, because it's been silent for so long, we really don't know how much effort has been put into it, how much it has been prioritized. It literally could have just been on the back burner, and then they were like, oh, we're not actually that far into it, so let's just do it for this one only, these next gen consoles only, sort of thing. Whereas, like you said, Halo's completely different. But
having said that,
yeah,
the game had gameplay footage shown in 2014.
What, Dead Island 2?
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
Remember. I reckon
this game is an enigma.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I think the game's probably been through some sort of development hell, or it's had quite a few reconceptualizations of what it actually is. So at some point they were like, let's cut it and redo it, or something like that. So
that never bodes well for a game.
No, it's a bit scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Dead Island is cool and all. But I mean, I'm much more hyped I prefer Dying Light, personally. If I'm going to pick any zombie game, but yeah, well, that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, speaking of fucking development hell, yeah, I mean, we might as well come on to this, which I've got the note to the bottom there. It's kind of so Techland, obviously developers of Dying Light 1. That Dying Light 2 got showed off however many years ago it was. I want to say 2017 maybe. And it looked at the time, I mean, it still does, but at the time it looked really fucking good. And Dying Light is
even the original right now, you beat that up, it looks great.
Yeah, Dying Light 2.
Still a nice looking game.
It was well received. It got so much support. It's still going. It's still going. The post-launch support, and that game came out in January 2015. So
yeah, that's great game. I love Dying Light.
The speculation around Dying Light 2 is that somewhere along the lines, Xbox already has acquired Techland, or they're going to acquire Techland to kind of swoop in and help with what's going on with the Dying Light 2, because the development team are bleeding, everyone's leaving for a number of reasons. Apparently the leadership there is a bit all over the place, and like I said, we haven't seen anything from the game since its first reveal. But it's this sort of news is all over the place because the community manager's come out and said, no, we haven't been acquired yet. And so people have also then said in response to that, a community leader or director wouldn't know about this sort of news anyway. So who knows at this point? But that has been the speculation that has been floating around.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, there has been, because for a few years now there has been talk of Microsoft wanting some more talent in Poland. and Beluba were on that kind of whitelist? Shortlist.
Shortlist.
Yeah.
Whitelist is bad.
Whitelist is bad. Shortlist is good. And so Beluba's team who made Medium, Observer, Layers of Fear, I want to say, yeah. And obviously nothing's happened with that, so probably I think they're publicly owned as well, so we would know if anything was going to happen. But yeah, so that's kind of what's happening with Dying Light 2 and like any potential acquisition. Supposedly, I mean, they are still shopping for studios. Like, you know, Satya Nadella went on Twitter and straight fucking said it. He was like, we're looking to acquire more studios. It was like, the balls on
we got some money to burn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Surprisingly, even though we just bought Bethesda. Yeah.
It's free money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great
so
concept.
they are still going.
Yeah. Good on them.
All right, so let's have a look. Yeah, we don't know if anything will happen with that. Okay, so I guess I just wanted to quickly touch on as well Doom 3. So, and this is another weird thing because this kind of ties into the conversation around the exclusives that were left on the table that have remained on PlayStation, like Deathloop, for example, which is coming out mid-May, I want to say, by Arcane Studios, and Ghostwire Tokyo is by... I'm not Googling it, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
It's either Machine Games or Tango. Let's find out together. It's Tango. Tango Gameworks. Obviously, it's one of the studios under the Bethesda umbrella.
Yeah, sure.
And they I think they're the Japanese studio that Bethesda have. So I think, did Tango make Evil Within? Evil Within, yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Good games.
Yeah.
Well, good game. I know I played the second one. Yeah.
So, to sort of tie into that conversation, Doom 3 VR, that's a thing, in case you didn't know that. It's coming to PlayStation.
I kind of caught wind of it.
Yeah. So this is kind of the third game now that's under Bethesda that is going to be exclusive to PlayStation for a period of time. And it's just one of those funny things, because they're obviously these things have been developed way in the past. You know, this has been ongoing, but it's just kind of this funny... I mean, there's no real commentary about it. It's just kind of funny that I know they respected the deals in terms of Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, and I really wish they didn't, because Deathloop looks fucking sick, and I love
Deathloop looks amazing.
It's not getting much friction though, to be honest. But anyway, so this is just kind of, I just wanted to kind of bring it up, like if you had any thoughts about any of that.
To be honest, not really. I mean, it just kind of seems like they're just trying to squeeze kind of everything they can out of Bethesda before they leave, basically, before they become mainly Xbox. Yeah. I don't really see it as a big loss. You know, the fact that that's PlayStation only. Did you say it was timed or just full?
Well, I mean, Xbox doesn't have a VR.
Oh, it doesn't have a VR, does it? Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, I actually weirdly have some history with Doom 3. Like, I really did like that game when I was younger. I played it on my PC loads. Really scary game.
Naughty boy!
Yeah. So I played that.
Scary games like that.
No, yeah, I was really young. Yeah, and obviously that game is a straight 18. Like that was quite vile at the time, and really, really scary as well. I remember playing that game and absolutely like just shitting myself. But it was good. It was a good game. I did enjoy it, but yeah, I'm not really that bummed out that it's coming to VR. I can picture it in VR, and I can see that being quite fun. Like I can, but I'm not a huge fan of VR personally.
Yeah. I think we've got kind of the same opinion on VR. It's
it's okay.
Because a lot of people, well, I not say a lot of people. There's a segment of the gaming community that sort of wants Xbox to get involved with VR, and I'm still like, for now, I'd just rather you focused on games and shit. Like and like I don't know, because the other, I don't know if you caught wind of this actually, but PlayStation announced their PSVR 2 like just last week or something. They said like, oh, you know, it's going to run off PlayStation 5 hardware, so it's obviously going to be able to do all of this lovely stuff at higher frames. And they said, oh, it's going to be, you know, a single wire, which is, from what I hear, quite a big thing for people who like VR, because it obviously is a pain having wires sort of traipse around you and breaks immersion and all of that. But I'm kind of. It's not that I don't want them to get involved in VR. It's just that I don't think we're at a stage. I don't think we're at a stage where it's a comfortable gaming platform. I think that's how I would describe it. I think they've learned their lesson from Kinect to stop getting involved in gaming gimmicks that aren't ready yet. Because Microsoft seem to do this thing where they love getting involved in stuff really early. And they throw it out and it just fucking dies. It's just because it's it's good in concept and it's good in it's good for your hardcore consumer, but it's not good for your casual consumer. The amount of things that the list goes on and on. It's like HoloLens. What the fuck happened to that? That's resigned to business. That never even came when they first showed that. They were like, "Oh, you can play Minecraft," and they were like, "There was someone putting dirt blocks."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I was like, that looks cool.
Yeah, it just died. Yeah, because they and then they had what was it fucking called? Oh, they had that projector thing. Oh shit, what was it?
I think
called?
I know. Yeah.
It was it was they. It would be like a projector you put up against your TV, and it fired the rest of it extended the screen to the background to the wall behind it. Oh my god, that's gonna be Xbox projector thing.
Regardless, I'm guessing it. I'm guessing it died.
It fucking died, yeah. But again, I think it's one of those things that it remains experimental.
Yes.
And that's what I like. Kinect, yeah. Obviously the poster boy for failed. I don't want to say fake because it was a great piece of kit, but even now they use that, just not with Xboxes. The Kinect technology is used in loads of other places, like businesses, and they use it as for cameras and for motion detection, thermals, and all that stuff. It's good tech. It's just it wasn't. You squeezed it out a bit too early, squirted it out a bit too early, and
I do feel like Microsoft are very prone to doing quite a lot, like you said.
I don't know. I guess they can save the money for it, but another good example of that is the whole idea of having a home entertainment system and having a microphone that you can speak to and control your entertainment system with. They do that 2013, everybody flips their shit. 2016, everybody has an Alexa in their house. So they're just missing the curve of when the public are kind of used to it.
Yeah, I remember people were just I don't want that thing. There was all this stuff going around security wise and privacy and all that kind of stuff. And personally,
NSA.
I really liked it when the Xbox launched with that.
Yeah.
I liked grabbing my screen with my two hands and squeezing.
That was the stupidest shit. Yeah, the motion controls can fuck off. Do you remember the demonstration for it? There's a whole thing about it because that guy's it's easy, and he I'm gonna check under my shoe for gum, and his avatar glitches out, and his knee snaps inside of his body. It's fucking horrible. And I'm on stage, and this is the sort of stuff. I do feel like Microsoft do this thing where they overcommit and squirt it out too early, but at the same time they have the right ideas. They're just a bit ahead of the curve, and so somewhere in that timeline something goes fucking wrong. Mixer is another one. God rest his soul. God rest Mixer's soul. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mixer.
Mixer was great, but that's dead. Another
Way
one
better than crappy Twitch.
Another one, yeah, I know. The UI was wonderful. It was snappy. I don't know. I guess a lot of people disagree with me on that. Maybe it's just an opinion. But anyway, it's a shame that died after they paid Ninja to buy his fourth helicopter.
Yeah, God, we had Ninja. How did it go wrong?
And Shroud. How could you lose with Ninja and Shroud? It's the only time they ever lose. So, how did we get here? VR. That's right.
I don't know. Yeah, we went on a journey.
So I think that's kind of my point. In that I don't want them to do that with VR.
Yes.
And I think they have learned that maybe we should hold fire a bit.
Yeah, let's they can do it and they can make their own thing when it's a bit more established. And it's getting there for sure. Some of the latest Oculus rigs are great. I have recently played one of my mates' Oculus Quests. Great, Quests? I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's called Oculus Quest or something. That's just what the actual model is called, Oculus Quest 2 or something.
I thought it was like a game, like Wii Sports.
No. I played like a Star Wars game where you were your own Jedi and stuff, and you were slicing up
Yeah,
people, and
I remember
it was
seeing
cool. It was great, but like I'm never gonna buy VR. I did play VR drunk at a bar once as well.
that.
That was quite fun. Also, not a great combo, but
No,
that's for another day.
I feel like
It can be quite
quite, yeah, I
dangerous.
feel like that's how you hang yourself by accident. Like
Yeah,
spin
yeah.
around and get the
Well,
wire
it's
around
just
your
the
neck.
fact that you're kind of drunk. You put it on, you take it off, and you're like, "Where am I?" Like someone might as well have bagged your head and thrown you in a van. Like you don't know where you are. You're so confused.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that sounds about right.
yeah,
Wicked. Well, that's our hot take on VR.
yes, very extremely hot.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up to 80 minutes. So I mean, 90 minutes is maybe our target. So I mean, we've got enough time for a few things. We can go over. So
Yeah,
it's no
let's
biggie,
just let's just let's just blitz it.
blitz it, blitz it, blitz it. Okay. So we obviously we've touched on Bethesda throughout the show a couple of times. The thing I wanted to touch, just I guess, confirm, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission published a notice of effectiveness in regards to the acquisition today. And I've been checking my phone throughout the show today, and everybody's been saying that this means something is imminent. So, I've said this a few times, so I think this means we might see a blog post, we might see something, but I reckon we'll see some news this week around what it's doing. So that's all very exciting stuff.
Extremely, yeah.
We've done Techland. There was something, and for fear of sparking up a console war, which is absolutely which is absolutely not my intent. But I do just want to report on it, I guess, because it's a couple of other people have touched on it. But like there was a Kotaku article, and I'm not really that involved in Twitter, so I don't really look at like reactions I look at like the forums and stuff, but not really like Twitter reactions. There was a Kotaku article just the other day titled "Sorry PS5, Xbox Series X has unexpectedly become my preferred console." I mean, I know that's there to make people make ape.
It sounds like a Kotaku
I know that's
title.
really targeting the monkey part of your brain to get you all angry. But what do you think is kind of like, we spoke about where we think Xbox is going into this gen and sort of moving forward. What do you think is like the perception? If we think about what do you think is like the broader perception of Xbox at the moment compared to PlayStation 5, given that we have E3 upcoming, Bethesda acquisition on the horizon, all of these features like frames per second boost, smart delivery, all of this sort of stuff, like, but a lack of games still. Like, what do you think is the broader perception of Xbox at the moment with the Kotaku article in mind?
I don't really know. I mean, maybe I don't know. Why don't you get the ball rolling?
Could you hear me drinking then?
A little bit.
I was proper
a little bit.
All right.
Not much.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Yeah. You get the ball rolling in that one.
Yeah. All right. So I mean,
drawing a blank.
Drawing a blank. No, that's fine. We are 80 minutes in, and this is new to us.
Yeah, it's been 80 minutes.
We're working our brains pretty hard. All I want to do is play some Division or Apex. So.
Yeah.
I think the perception is generally quite good, and this has been something which has been climbing for a while. Xbox is still sold out everywhere. Series X more so than Series S, which isn't to be surprised because that's the enthusiast console, and they're the sort of people that are going to be buying it at launch. Games Pass is basically it. The answer is always Games Pass. I think Games Pass is like the main selling point for the brand at the moment. It's the thing they're going to lean into until they get big hitters into it. But the thing I think which is like causing these sort of articles and maybe people to start thinking, oh, actually, maybe they are looking quite strong this gen, despite of the games. And I went on about this earlier. It's all the like wizard level hardware stuff. I keep saying, like the frames per second boost, like the smart delivery, because a lot of people are getting their PlayStation 5s, from what I've been hearing anyway. And they've been having difficulties with for those who aren't familiar, smart delivery is how Xbox handles backwards compatibility, and the console will just, when you boot it up, it will say, we can optimize this for you if you want. You hit yes, you update it, boom, it's done. Like, it gives you the optimized version that performs at higher frames per second, higher resolution, whatever. PlayStation doesn't have this equivalent, and so people are which is weird to me. But they've never been strong advocates of compatibility anyway. So there's been
Yeah.
faff for people like having to like they have to go through the store and navigate. Am I downloading a PlayStation 4 version, a PlayStation 5 version? And I just think there are lots of little things like that which are starting to add up to a lot of people. The frames per second boost is nice. You know, the compatibility and their commitment to that is really strong. Crossplay, PC, you know, Games Pass is only getting stronger and stronger. And I think in some regards, you know, I think they have to after their whole fucking thing with Xbox Live Gold, whatever that was, that moment of madness that occurred.
Yeah.
But I think this is why some of the scales for some people are maybe starting to tip, and I don't think that's representative of most of the community, but I think for some people whose needs are met by some of those features on Xbox, they're starting to think, oh, this is actually looking quite cool.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. I perceived the question differently to how you phrased it. Yes. Yeah. Completely agree. It definitely seems like we're just looking to sort of widen our horizon, become just more encompassing, just overall to everything and to the consumer in general. Like you said, with Games Pass just being Games Pass is just a life hack, bro. I'm going to be honest. Like
Really is, yeah.
Games Pass is just
R//life hack,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah, if you play games for more than an hour a day, like Games Pass is worth the money. It's insane. But yeah, with that coming into play and just only getting better and first party games, all coming out on that on launch day, and like you said, with everyone sort of branching more over to PC, and collaborating with that more as well. Yeah, that's definitely the way Xbox is looking to go, and I think it's the correct route, to be honest. You know, I think that's the smart thing to do. I mean, whoever even came up with Games Pass in the first place is an absolute genius.
Well, yeah. Supposedly it was Philly's bid. I mean, I'm sure that you know the whole teams are involved, or whatever, but that was his bid. That was his vision. You know, when he tried to put it forward to Satya Nadella, who's like, you know, Netflix for gaming. That's what they keep saying.
Yeah, Netflix for games. Yeah.
And so you know, I think all of these little things, you know, like you say, all these little things are really starting to add up to a lot of people, especially when we're coming into. Especially if we're coming into a new gen, you know, I think they're trying to distance themselves in terms of PR from Xbox One. You know, I don't think it'll be long before. Has it even? They have. They've stopped. Not that long ago. They stopped production on the original Xbox One, so you can still get yourself an Xbox One S, Xbox One X. But no, I think Xbox One X has stopped as well. Now I think about it.
I don't think so.
I really do. I am so sure.
Xbox One X.
Yeah. Because I remember there being a whole thing of like people saying like people who got an Xbox One X, do you feel validated in your purchase? Because
Mate, that's going to make them like gold dust.
Do you think?
I don't know. Probably not.
Xbox One X. Nothing's come up.
But yeah, it's quite interesting. You know, when you say all that stuff with they have they?
Yeah, so this was August last year that this got reported. August 2020 that they stopped. They were like, right, we're not making it anymore. Because there's just no need for it, really, isn't there? At that point, the Xbox One X, like, the marketing is confusing. Is it the premium one or not? Like, what's an Xbox One X? The fuck's an Xbox Series X Xbox One?
Well, I said
Xbox One.
Yeah. I made this observation at the beginning. It's so their naming structure is absolute. It's just dog. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely quite interesting because I mean when we got our new Xboxes, we even thought that the enhancement system, the smart delivery system, wasn't exactly fantastic. It was a bit clunky, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was more.
In some cases, it kind of downloaded it twice. It was like, oh, it's done, and then you went on it, and you're like, well, it's not actually, and you have to like do the same thing again. I know I had to do that once or twice, but it's quite interesting to see that PlayStation's even in a worse place than that. And we thought that the way Xbox did it was on the clunky side. Like, sure, now that I think about it, there's not really a better way you can do it. The fact is, you have to send an update to the person's client.
Yeah.
But
It's just, I think it's
Yeah,
more that it's because it's a new thing for everyone, you know. So like going to boot up your game and then being like,
yeah.
oh, you have to update. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, there's nothing more annoying. There's
Yeah,
nothing more annoying than that. And yeah, I could definitely see that grinding people's gears for PlayStation. Um,
yeah. Hopefully they get something in place for it
yeah,
as well. Really.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll put something. They'll put something in. They probably just, I don't know. Yeah, they probably just wanted to get it out as is. You know, it's an MVP as we call it.
Yeah.
In the you know, it's a a minimal viable product in terms of that. It
Not
works.
most
It's a
valued
bit
player.
clunky.
Wow.
No. um, and you know they can improve on it later. That was probably their thinking. They were just like, you know, it's fine. It's not great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to hurt us too much. But like you said, these things do add up. You know,
Yeah.
people do care about these quality of life things. People do care about a smoother experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I completely agree in the fact that Xbox is heading down that just more convenient route.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. But yeah, cool.
So,
Nice.
I guess I just wanted to sort of finish off the episode with just going over what's coming to Games Pass. Really, you know, there's just a few things that I saw here. In case you didn't know, we've got. Let me enhance that. There we go. So we've got NBA 2K coming out. I think as of today, actually, I want to say. Well, I don't know if this is when it's going to go live, but today, as in the 5th of March. NBA 2K on console and cloud. We've got Star Wars Renegade. Star Wars Renegade. It's just Squadrons. That's an old PSP game. Star Wars Squadrons. That fucking shooty in the spaceship one.
Yeah, that's cool.
It looks cool. That's
always wanted to play that.
Pass. Yeah. It's and, you know, it's another great one for Games Pass. It's sort of in the fringe genre of games.
Yeah.
NHL, National Hockey League. That's the one.
Yes,
really,
hockey. Yeah.
It's not really anything us Brits know about, but y'all in America and Canada, I know you're into that.
Yeah.
Madden is console, Football Manager console and PC, and that's why is there 2 Football Managers? It seems that there's an Xbox edition. Is that what that just says? Yeah, Xbox edition.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know why my notes are so tiny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's what's coming new to Games Pass. I don't know if that grabs anyone's eye. It's definitely a lot of sports stuff, which isn't a problem.
Yeah, it's very sport heavy. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't. You know, it's one of the things we didn't even touch on today. That, you know, Games Pass was already bonkers, and then they were like, "Do you like EA games? Like, have them as well."
Oh yeah, yeah, EA Access. Yeah.
And there have been whispers of Ubisoft, UB Play, joining the fold as well in some shape or form. So we'll have to see.
Lots on the horizon.
Lots on the horizon.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll return. Quick resume. We'll return. We'll resume.
Yeah. Quite quickly.
Quite
You
quickly.
know, not too quickly.
Yeah,
Within
quickly.
next week.
Yeah.
Once a week.
Once a week. Yeah, that's quick.
Um,
So, I mean,
cool.
hopefully we'll do this again this time next week. But other than that, any closing comments before we wrap up?
Not really. No. Just it was, you know, we're quite new to this sort of thing. I thought it was quite fun.
Yeah, this was fun, man. We should do this again sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe next week.
Nah, too soon.
Too quick. Slow resume.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it was good fun. I enjoyed all the things you talked about. I hope you know, anyone listening also enjoyed it and thought it was thought provoking, learned something. Yeah, maybe not thought provoking.
Asking a bit much there.
But yeah, that's about it. And aside from that, you know, I've been Tim, and it was a pleasure. I've been Tim.
I won't
today.
be next week, but this week I am Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, cool. Well, yeah. Follow us on Twitter if you can, and obviously subscribe if you sort of were a fan of any of this. We'll be doing this. We'll be trying to do this every week. So, any suggestions, any questions, any comments, anything like that, or any questions rather, leave them in the comments. Give us a tweet, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Cool. Right. Bye.